Well, it's Tuesday. I had a cancellation and we went to the DMV and finally I got my plates, I got my registration. I could drive my car legally. So now it's like the summer begins for me. I fucking hate the DMV. The DMV for me is the worst place on earth. I pretty much, I do. I have like a phobia of the DMV. You know, every type of situation that triggers anxiety and panic attacks for me is at the DMV. Like me going to the DMV, those experiences, you have to do it every, I don't know, couple years, every year, whatever. It's like the lowest point of my life because it's like a culmination of the terrible experience in my body and in my mind, but also just like the kind of defeat of it too really sucks. I have to have my wife there to like help me get through it because it's so bad. It's been a couple of years since I've been on any medication, and lately it's kind of come back a little bit more. On average, like it's a little bit worse than it has been. So I have an appointment. I'm gonna get medicated again. And typically how I did it in the past was I'll, take the medication for a few months and kind of retrain my brain that certain situations are okay, and that I'm basically storing memories of doing certain things and feeling okay, so that when I go to do those things, I don't have a reaction in my body, because I have almost like muscle memory of doing it without having those terrible experiences happen. So I don't really like to take medicine, it fucking sucks, I take a pretty hilariously low amount. Every time I talk to my doctor, he's like, it's kind of such a low amount. It's like, how much effect is it really having? And it might be a placebo for me, but I don't give a shit. That's great. If it is a placebo, because I'm taking such a small amount, that's, in my mind, that's better than having to take more, potentially becoming dependent on it. And that medicine is, it has a high risk of dependency, which I haven't had a problem with in the past. So I've been pretty lucky. But, we're just going to see how it goes, and just retrain my brain. It sucks that I have to do this every couple of years. But, as bad as it gets sometimes, I really wouldn't trade my life for anybody else's, honestly. Because, you can't have everything, and I'm pretty lucky. So I also don't experience any depression. A lot of times people with anxiety stuff and panic stuff, and along with that comes a lot of depression. I don't have any of that, at least that I'm aware of. Like sometimes I feel sad, but I wouldn't call that depression. And I've never had a moment where, even though the anxiety has been like super extreme and kind of controlling of my life at certain times, I never feel hopeless. I've never felt hopeless about it. I've never felt sad in a certain way. Like it's never a pervasive, long-lasting sadness about it. I have really extreme experiences with anxiety, sometimes very often, and then as soon as it's over, as soon as the experience is over, as soon as whatever is triggering the situation is over, I kind of like, shake it off and, oh, that was crazy. And then I'm like, oh, that was crazy. And then I just go about my life. And I feel pretty good afterwards. So I feel very lucky for that. And, I still wouldn't trade my life for any other way. If this is the thing that I have to deal with, so be it. Now, would I like to trade that, that experience for something else in replace of it? Like, I was talking to my wife, and there's, if somebody woke me up and was like, hey, you don't have to you don't have to go to the DMV, but you do have to run 10 miles without any training. Just right now, you have to get up, put your shoes on, and go run 10 miles. I would gladly do that. I would gladly do that, because the physical pain of doing that would definitely outweigh the experience. It's hard to describe the actual physical experience in my body. It's like tripping on drugs. If you've ever done drugs and had a really bad time doing drugs, for whatever reason, like having a bad trip or smoking too much, it's a lot like that. A lot of super weird sensations in your body, being disassociating and losing some of your balance, and feeling like there's a billion bees inside of your body, like almost like restless leg syndrome in your fucking brain. And it's just like the feeling of impending doom in the next moment is just hard to describe. And I understand the idea of somebody like hearing that and being like, well, you just gotta like not think about that, you gotta like stay. But it's hard to it's like running in the rain and somebody telling you, well, just don't get wet, right? It's like, I can do all the focusing that I want on something, but the physical sensations in my body are just so incredibly uncomfortable. It's like being burned alive or something. I don't know. Maybe not that extreme, but it's kind of like that. And it was funny, we were standing in line, and I'm having such a terrible time, and thank God for my wife, for dealing with this bullshit that I have to go through. And I run to the bathroom, and I come back, and she's actually at the counter, and I sit down, and I'm obviously just so uncomfortable and having a really bad time. And the person behind the desk that was working at the DMV was like, Paul Johnson, oh, you tattoo, right? This motherfucker recognized my name from just going into Atmosphere Tattoo Gallery in Schaumburg. I don't know if maybe he was thinking about getting a tattoo at some point, or he just, I don't know, recognized this for some reason. But just added to the stress of it, like, oh my God, now this guy fucking kind of like knows who I am, and like I'm there freaking out. I'm not sure that I don't think I exhibit a lot of behaviors, maybe when it's really extreme, but most people don't actually know that I'm experiencing these things, because I'm tattooing people sometimes when it happens. And like just recently, I told my jujitsu instructor that I have to deal with these things, because I was kind of helping with the kids class, and some of those situations like are really tough for me, so I had to divulge that information so that he understood, and he had no idea. So, which is crazy to me, because the difference between probably what I look like and what's going on inside me is just so incredibly contrasting that it's so uncomfortable. There was a couple of, I think it was last year, my wife, she's stressed out, she's got anxieties and stuff just like any person. But last year she had a situation with a client that it was really uncomfortable, and she actually had a panic attack, and I think it was her first panic attack she'd ever had. And panic attacks are normal, like people will have them in their life. It's not like a abnormal thing. And obviously it sucked that she went through that, but it was cool that cool, I don't know if that's the right word, but she got to experience a little bit of what that's like for me, and how it happens like all the fucking time. So I think that helped, but she's always been so great about it, and helped fill in the gaps where I have trouble doing things. And I try not to have avoidance behaviors, because that's really bad for anxiety. Like, you don't want to not do things because of your anxiety. So I've always been pretty good about like staying as close to the bleeding edge of as much anxiety as I could possibly take in a situation before needing like help with the situation, or doing the situation, doing the thing in a different way to help eliminate some of the stress and the physical uncomfortable shit that's happening in my body. But anyway, we got through. We actually went yesterday, found out that the DMV we went to didn't do the thing that we needed to do, so we had to do it this morning. So it was super stressful couple of days, but now I can fucking drive my car. All right, so I'm back to filming tattoo stuff. The last couple days I've been tattooing, but nothing too crazy. I did work on like a Star Wars thing, which is pretty cool. But today I have a really full day. I'm starting a sleeve of armor, like knight's armor, with chainmail and all that. So we're gonna draw on the main components and just get it all mapped out. And then my second appointment, we're working on a leg sleeve that's a phoenix with fire and a big gnarly tree. So it's going to be a pretty hectic day, but should be a fun day.